There you go. Alright, keep playing. Okay. Is it working or not? I can't see it now. There you go. Alright, keep playing. There we go. You guys can hear this? I know you can because I just tested it. We didn't have the microphone working at first, but now it's unmuted. So, we were driving through Los Angeles and we realized that all the maps, there's a lot of traffic there and we wanted to show off some of the place, but I noticed that the entire place was exactly the same as in Grand Theft Auto 5. Or rather, Grand Theft Auto 5 is modeled entirely on Los Angeles. So, my friend Jeff and I decided that we would just do a virtual tour of Los Angeles. Bear with me here. So, Jeff is going to drive around, but he's in the middle of a mission, so you'll notice that it's a pretty excited environment. But you'll see a lot of things, actually, while you're driving through this game that you wouldn't expect to be in any normal sort of video game, but they've gone out of the way to put things in. For instance, they have drilling tunnels through this game, and they have drilling machines, so you can see them doing, like, underground tunnels where they can, hide, or the car can do getaways. But in there are these giant boring machines. And in general, like, there are lots of levels to this game. There are virtual hills that you can go into. You can see all the construction buildings that are going up. There's a lot of... Careful! That poor biker. Oh well. In general, we're trying not to just destroy too many people's lives, but you'll see in this game there's actually, like, a certain amount of concrete jungle that... Hold on, let's get a little past this point. Once it gets like a little bit more lit. Yeah, there you go. Look at this dome up here on the right. So, basically similar to the Los Angeles MoMA, which is built right in the middle of Santa Monica. It connects to the Beverly Hills Strip. And Beverly Hills Strip, there's like 3 streets that connect. There's Sunset Boulevard, there's Beverly Hills Boulevard, there's Hollywood Boulevard. It's actually Franklin Boulevard if you really want to count it, but that's the beginning of the hill, right underneath the Hollywood sign and like the Griffin Observatory Park. Right now we're further into Koreatown, and you look into the industrial section, it's like what they call City of Industry, and there's like K-Town, Koreatown, but like we're leaving into like the downtown of Los Angeles, which is an industrial section. And there's domes you'll see, like, immediately, you'll see lots of these old buildings right behind the power plants that are kept completely hidden from, most people aren't going to go to that part of Long Beach or to Hollywood or to these places. The only way you're going to see them, basically, is if you're crazy enough to visit a power plant. Or you're going to go to San Pedro Harbor, and you're going to see these things. The only way you're going to get that otherwise is through, like, this video game. And it's crazy how exact it is. They've gone so far into posting. Hey man, look at this. There's some people that are actually watching, and there's some questions going. Let's see if there's any questions going on. Cool. Alright, well, sometimes this is just going to be real. Let's just see what happens. Oh man. Really? Well, this was supposed to be a virtual tour, but I got a little serious, guys.
Yeah, no.
Give it a second. We're gonna do this. Do this proper. Out of lives. Stellar. You gotta buy more lives. It's not like reincarnation. Can't believe in that stuff. Hey, Julie, what's up? How's it going?
Launching a new session.
We're launching a new session right now.
So I can go downtown and do shit.
Yeah, I hope you heard that. We're gonna go downtown and check out some stuff. Is there anything you guys wanted to see in Los Angeles? Right now, we're gonna go drive around those parts of Los Angeles. We're gonna do a virtual tour of Los Angeles. So if there's anything you wanted to know about, the history of a certain place, we're gonna go like walk around that spot. Questionable content icon? Fair enough. Well, Brittany, if you didn't think about it, all of these places are literally identical. They've got the exact roads. It's uncanny. Malibu Hills, Latigo Canyons, all of these places are exactly mapped out. So it's pretty crazy how much we're going to be able to see just because of this game. Santa Monica, for instance, has changed so much in the last few years. And so, are there any old buildings like the World Fairs? Yes, there definitely are. So that's one of the things that we're talking about by going downtown. Okay, so Jeff.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a car. Give this man a second, people. Some dramatic, cinematic moment. It's a nice car. It's like kind of like the Lexus of the people's cars, if you will. Yeah, so interesting thing about video games, if anyone was interested, how they do some of this mapping. So one of the things they do, where are you actually ending up right now before I...
This is Venice Beach.
Venice Beach. Okay, so he's coming out on, that's just about 3rd and Rose, 5th and Rose, and now he's on Rose and actual Venice Beach Boardwalk. Excellent. This is about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. This is about the time at Muscle Beach that you would expect to see Arnold Schwarzenegger bicycling past in a hoodie. Alright. Careful, this... Whoa, Andy Warhol is upset. You gotta be careful. Venice Beach is a lot of meth. Alright, keep going. Careful about this guy. So, you'll notice none of the people are selling anything yet, because no one gets up in California until after 11. Alright, so, Brittany, as you were saying, about coding coordinates, they take Google Maps, and they coordinate them. That was Abbott Kinney, which is past the main plaza. There's a place called Mao's Chicken, I think, or General Mao's Chicken, right on that corner. I think it's hilarious. I don't know what it is, but there's also a thrift store. Right here in that empty lot right there, there's a, oh, need some, there we go. There we go. Excellent. So, what they do is they take the maps from Google and then they lay them down, and using the 3D projections, they're able to basically map out what the place will look like. You know, they do more than that. They obviously make this slightly different. There's a lot of things that are different about this place. They compress LA in the same way that Disney does for California Adventure. Hey, what's up? What's up in South County, Eric? We're doing our best to do a virtual tour right now. We're thinking, is there anything in Los Angeles you wanted to see? We can totally just drive around and express it. We can put up some photos later that correlate with the actual place. But in general, this is pretty Google Map similar to Los Angeles. So also interesting are all the differences. They make these points. So underneath the drilling, okay, so we got these missions right here. Imagine this is Beverly Hills and Hollywood Boulevard, let's say. And then maybe this mall that's the Paramount Movie House. We just passed the Mormon temple. Now we're getting onto this is either Sunset or Melrose.
This is Hollywood.
This is Hollywood, okay. Looks like it could be Hollywood Boulevard or Sunset.
Oh, Sunset.
Yeah. How many streets up is the sign? How many streets further north could you, up that direction? Maybe 5?
So the over there.
Okay. So we're going away from west. Yeah, you'll notice some of the craziest things that they put in this game, besides the drilling, they've got all the old buildings. There's a lot of old buildings you can go into, which is cool. So let's say if you can you go, how far, what would be something interesting to show? Do you want to show one of the drilling holes? Can you go to show the tunnel? Is that far?
You can go there.
Okay. Or we could do downtown more. You can go to any of these towers. This is, so Jeff's driving right now. Jeff's he's my friend from France. Say hello, Jeff.
Hey.
Or you can say it in French. So, essentially, I think the objective of this is some kind of, some sort of, a showing of, how things have been designed in a really fast-paced sense. This is probably the easiest way to go around a city that we know has been collapsed, and there used to be dunes, and there used to be these towers, and there still are, but there were mansions that were wood, and now there's these, you know, there's this crazy infrastructure of concrete. Here we go. Yeah, basically, Eric, this is a lot of, it's a large amount of Venice, admittedly. And then there's most of LA County. I think there's a little bit of Ventura, as far as I can tell. There's also a little bit of Long Beach, it looked like. But in general, notice that there's these drilling holes, and that these holes, did you get to the, he's still going to these places. But, yeah, here you go. Check out this. Do you want to get out and just walk up to that for a second? Just walk up and look at this. How can you change your camera perspective to be first person? Alright, cool. Walk up to this and check this shit out. I mean, excuse me. Wow. But look at these drilling machines and this company, HVY. Okay? And then like the little warning label, which is just like, you will die. It's literally, it's pretty good. So, I mean, and Howard Hughes made all of his money to make airplanes off of his family's drilling machines. And then, you know, he kept the Mormons around, paid them to make his films in Hollywood, which then they released on Hollywood Boulevard. And so there's a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, they're about to build in San Diego. We were just in San Diego, and we saw them building train systems. There's this huge transit system. Everyone's telling you in California they're not building a transit system. I almost wonder if they're doing that just because they're building such a metal transit system. It's like the coolest transit system in the world, and I've seen a lot, you know what I mean? It's just like, there's parts of it that are 20, 30, 100, like 30 meters, 100 meters into the air, concrete. There's parts of it that are underground. And it's all already built. So anybody who told you that California doesn't have a transit system, I didn't know about it, but apparently it's like all of San Diego is already covered. And Los Angeles, well, we knew there was one originally. So this game is alluding to the facts, and I'll tell you what about Rockstar games. They tend to allude to a lot of things that turn to fact. I don't know if you've seen in the all the things going on with Red Dead. We'll have to do something about that soon because it's the most obvious. How old is what? The new trains? The game? Because this game automatically updates itself. This game works like an online game, so you get it and you get into it and it changes like the Matrix. You're like, oh, I can buy a new car or a new property. But ever since Gavin Newsom, I think California has already started connecting the existing transit systems. And there were systems that were being paid for at the end by Jerry Brown, who had set up these systems at the end there. So these huge contracts with the Boring Company have made tunnels all over the United States, but at least in California specifically, you know, there's crazy long ones. And some of them are what you call dark lit. So they're built, there's access to them, but they're not used yet. And that's interesting. The only way to use some of these tunnels, you'll notice, is like they fit on the rail just about for a Tesla. Tesla cars, they attach to these rails, and they can get them from places. Peace be with you too, Northeast. Thank you. Okay, in terms of ancient tunnels, I definitely think they're connecting to the old tunnels. There are plenty of old tunnels underground, but these are the new tunnels. There are plenty of new tunnels. You see this could be an old tunnel. There are plenty of old tunnels that you can find, and in the 19th century specifically. But the problem with California, obviously, is there's this sedimentary shift a lot, or even if it's natural or not, it's happening, and people are burying tunnels. And we're finding churches underground in California a lot. But yeah, there are mini cars to the mansions and hotels. That's a thing. There are fast-built tunnels, and then there's a lot of stories about people building tunnels 100 years ago, and in the 30s specifically, like the Latter-day Saints have been building tunnels under San Diego's, and back in back in the Deseret days of the 1800s, 19th century. And there are a lot of granite parts of California, like San Diego. Everyone I've ever met who's lived in San Diego talks about drilling. They're like, "Do you hear that noise? Ha ha ha!" Like they'll be like on a boogie board or in a surfboard, and you'll hear it, and the water will be like vibrating like Jurassic Park, and you're just like, okay. Everyone knows, and they think of it like, okay, well the military must be doing something, but you know, in the general, you're not likely to get to drive through the tunnels and see them for yourself. So unless you do it in Grand Theft Auto. Excellent. So where are we at in this station?
I have no idea. I'm gonna get out.
This is pretty cool. I get like comments, so we can read the comments and respond to the comments. I've never done this before. I like this. It's pretty cool. It's definitely, yeah, cement is for your protection. That's like, I like that. Deseret days. What's up, Jay? $8 for coffee, and that's fair trade. I really like some of the things that they bothered to put in this game. I think honestly, there's a few things that are kind of adorable. Maybe we do like, I don't know, that talk radio. Like include the talk radio if you get in the car. If you guys haven't, I mean, some of you people have never played this game. And even if you have, like, if you checked out the talk radio in this game, it's super crazy. The stuff the guy says. Oh, he's like, no. Yeah, there you go. Get in with him. There you go. Oh, are you guys in the car together? No, you are.
No, this is an NPC.
Okay. Help me fight against the oil cartel and win the election. I mean, it's amazing. Amazing. It's amazing. So where are we here? We're in K-Town, almost clearly. So K-Town is just in the south connection of the east part, like sort of by the 110. How far are we from the freeways?
Where do you want to go?
I mean, where are you?
Right here. So, Hollywood Boulevard must be like here.
Let's go downtown. Go southeast.
Southeast?
Yeah, go like there. Go further east a bit. If there's anything interesting there that you think you've seen any towers or anything like that. Any of the kind of dangerous tent. I mean, one of the funny things about this game is you don't have a lot of tent cities. You'd think there'd be a lot more people in tents all over the place.
There is a tent city, and there is a...
Go to the tent city. Alright, this is what you wanted to see, people. You wanted to see hippies in tent cities. You want to see California? I know what you are. It's a bit of a drive. That's what I want to... Wait, but is it over in the west side, or what?
North, east.
Alright, east is good. Just go east and go far. I just want to get away from Venice for a second, because I'll admit, I spend more of the time in Venice than I do. East. Whoa. Man. Well, that worked out. Don't ever, just shake it off. The Rockefeller Foundation, I definitely have gotten haircuts and buildings from the Rockefeller Foundation, and that's sort of similar to your question. There's a place in Chile that I walked by, and I was like, man, this building's really incredible. I need to look for where exactly it is. Excuse. We're at the Groening movie theater. What can you see at the Groening movie theater? Is there anything on the floor? Can you see any wet concrete stuff? Whose names? Nothing? Guys, look at this. What do you think this friggin' means? Wait, is there any footprints? Did you see that? There was a footprint. Look in the front there. Did you see that? Wait, to the left. To the left. I saw it. There. See that? There's one footprint. Whose footprint is it? Am I just etc. I bet you On the ground here, you're gonna find one footprint, and it belongs to Maury Amsterdam. I don't know who it belongs to, but it doesn't probably belong to anyone that you would think of as important. I'll tell you what, or me either. That's something surprising. Hopefully, it's not their own foot, because I've just been narcissistic. Yeah, Koreatown's really interesting. I like how they literally just sweep the place clean. I used to just wear, you know, the thickest dead animals I can find strapped to my feet that had died in Hollywood, probably, and couldn't make it out. And then, you know, when they wore down, get more. Until Koreatown. And now it's pretty awesome. Because they just cleaned that place right up.
I think they're around here.
Alright. Right by the do they don't have the Scientology building?
Should we get the helicopter?
Yeah, get a helicopter. Guys, we're gonna get a helicopter. What's your game? I'm Xirtus, you guys. Have you not figured out I'm Xirtus? There you go. I'm Xirtus. Thanks for the question, Toxic Lucidity. Yeah, I mean, I literally don't play games that much, obviously. But for this purpose, it seems legit. And, like, you know, I would like to play a little bit more. I wanted to do something about that game, Horizon Zero Dawn. Is that right? And then also, Sky. What's that one? The blue? The Skies? What's it called?
No Man's Skies?
No Man's Skies. Because when No Man's Skies first came out, I was like, I bought it because like on half of me knew it's just the stupidest game possible because I know what Santa Cruz people are like. It's a game from people from UC Santa Cruz. So they're like, what if it's a world where the sky identifies as green and you just have to like be comfortable with that? You know, and it's like, what if you have to like, there's a plant there and you have to study it like Myst. You know that game that no one liked? But, like, I liked Myst, so what can I say? I mean, I wanted the game. So now there's, like, a version 2 of it, and it seems really cool because you get to, like, identify, like, the genotype of that plant or something and make the sky purple. I haven't really figured it out, but it seems kind of interesting. In general, though, like, this game and then the other one, you know, Red Dead Redemption. Oh, man. So, okay, he just got to the helicopter pad. Big stuff, people. Seriously got to see LA maps to check out some places. Did you send me them in the Discord? I'm gonna go look at that in a second while the helicopter is launching. The helicopter. Good job. Good job. Boom. Alright, here we go. Maps. Looking at some maps. Map of Los Angeles. Original maps. Ooh. Raymond Chandler's map of Los Angeles. Yeah, so like early Los Angeles was already full of towers, which is kind of the funny thing. But only the tall ones, these 13 stories. There were some 6-story towers. FIB.
It's FBI really good at this.
I got the feeling that they were like, the fib is good enough though. They're fibbers. They're not all fibbers.
And here's the sun.
So it kind of looks like we're headed towards Franklin. He's over Olympic, maybe. Pico. Pico is where the community college is and the high school is. Pico Boulevard is really fun. Thank you, Toxic. I'll definitely accept. Embrace your friend request. Thanks, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that, Armand. I really do. Now, I mean, I literally wanted to do this in real life, but it would have cost me more than $5 or whatever to, like, fly over the Hollywood sign. And also, if I'd walked up there, which I was totally willing to do, probably would have gotten arrested afterwards if I filmed it in real life, I realized. But, you know, like, it's pretty interesting what you can do up in the Griffin Hill Observatory area. I mean, we'll go, if you wanna...
It's just here.
Yeah, we can do whatever you want. There's just so many cool things you can see north of the sign, right? Like, you're welcome, Toxic. The Rose Bowl. Hey, the Rose Bowl is really interesting, YouTube censorship. You know, like, the white horses, the Arkham Marino horses that ride the Rose Bowl Parade. And the Rose Bowl Parade started out as a sort of like a fraternal event for the wives of members of like the fraternal society. That was the Rosicrucian Society mostly, but I think there was a certain amount of just of the way that there's like a Shriners to the Freemasons. Like there's a certain amount of like just party folk that were in the Rosicrucians too in California. Yeah, landing down. I just took some photos here earlier, so we'll be able to match cut this to actual Griffin Observatory. You know, funny, it costs like friggin' $8 an hour to park your car on the hill a mile down and walk up it, but social economic prejudice. Anyway, this is pretty close to accurate. You'll notice there's a few missing things. Can you get up to that sundial?
Yeah.
Looks good. Yeah, get a good. You're right. Doing it right. Good job, Jeff. Round of applause for Jeff. He's actually like the chauffeur. Like more than that, he's like the psyche space perception camera guy. It's pretty good. So yeah, you'll notice that the Griffin Observatory is a star fort. Good call. In real life, this place is a lot bigger. You can walk around it. It trips you out how big it is. And I will have to post a picture, but somebody please look up the sundial in front of the obelisk. It's a freaking... Oh, you were in a morgue? Whoa. Toxic. That's a trip. You should... This is exactly what we need. We need people that are, like, aware of a morgue stuff. A morgue's actually pretty interesting. I'm pretty interested in those people. Kind of freak me out a little bit. That's why I never joined. But just because they're awesome, you know? Like, that's basically why. But... Oh no, really? Yeah. Psych! Ladies and gentlemen, think about that. Think about that, man. Alright.
This is exactly like it.
It's perfect.
We even looked at a sign right here.
Look at the mud and stuff. This dome contains a 12-inch space-penetrating telescope. Think about what that means, guys. And it really says that. I think it might say 12-inch. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's exactly.
I took a picture of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to these spots, and then, you know, let me look really quickly over the ledge. Whoop. It's on the reverse camera.
Yeah,
You're such a pro. Alright. Such an assassin use of the controller, like helicopter pilot. Alright. So they've literally changed a few things. Right in the front, there's a giant bent erect phallus. This contains the Zeiss 12-inch refracting telescope. Thank you. So the Zeiss refracting, and Zeiss is what they use now in like most of the camera things. You can't. What? Galileo. Huh, they're pretty. There's probably. What do you guys reckon it was originally Galileo before? All right, but right in the front there. Do you want? I mean, it's up to you. Do you want? I can. If you need to do that, I can do this for a second. Mm-hmm. You know. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Going to look over here in front over. I really want to get the picture of it, but there's like right in front of the thing. Can I just jump, or is it gonna kill me?
No, you can jump. Thanks.
Square. There we go. Goodbye, cruel world. Oh gosh. Alright. Great. I've always wanted to do that there. I mean, you know, and not die. That's part of
The
it.
sign is supposed to be there.
There's a thing right here that's missing. See that little hole here? Right here. My sundial. I feel like the man in the Time Machine movie in the red suit even. That's probably why I have a red suit. Alright. So, but this is the sundial. There. Okay, can you... Oh, you can't quite tell. So, in it, it's got this crazy... That metal part is a bent giant phallus. And it has a huge, erect, like, mushroom tip, like, pyramid that sticks out of it. So, it's very, very specific. I think we need a photo, and I will post it later just so that people have the point. But, like, I swear, I wouldn't make that point if I didn't think it was completely obligatory to. The other thing, oh, dang, lady, just, whoa. Alright, the other, this is me in real life, guys. Alright, I'm gonna calm down. Alright, there we go. Alright, just keeping it chill, This is an actual elevator. So at the Griffin Observatory, there's an elevator right next to it. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because they think it's so you can go down to this restaurant. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that it goes down way further than that. Because looking into the Yeah, see? Where's that door? Right? They're gonna make the point that it's not for there, that door for that elevator is going somewhere else. I hate to sound that Kubrickian today, but Hollywood does that. And if you look over the observatory, one thing, I think we should probably just get, it's cloudy today. It's too real. Too friggin' real. Can you get out of the, alright. Telescope.
Exactly.
So real, yeah. So many days I've spent standing over this edge, wondering why Santa Monica and Hollywood, why? All right, but if you look, wait, there's a water path now, right? And look at some of the pictures I have earlier. You'll see, like, there's no water path there. It's a hill. There's place for a water path, and just yeah. We got our jumper. Alright, fair enough. I'm gonna step back, guys. Calm down, it's virtual. Freaking people out, even in Grand Theft Auto, that I'm gonna jump. Alright, but that city over there, it's the one that has all the paintings of all the celebrities on the sides of it. I think that's the 110 that connects it. And the idea of water right there, think about what they're saying. What they're saying about Hollywood, what they're saying about Franklin Boulevard, because this is right above Sunset and Hollywood Boulevard, right? It's so close. What it means basically is that they're going to eventually destroy it and replace it with water, or that it was at one point. And there's plenty of lady, are you? What the?
Well, damn.
Get the.
Excuse me.
How do you even? Excuse me. This was a different kind of game. Alright. If I was a different kind of non-playing character. Alright. Well, I'm gonna get out of here before some other drunkard steps all over me. That was just... I almost wish I had some sort of a weapon. Hey, looked at friends. Interesting. Alright. Look at the general NPCs of this game. I don't mean to make like a certain prejudice, but what is the deal with these hipsters and these like obese people that are visiting Galileo? Oh, well, they don't want to hang out with me in my suit because I'm too close. Alright, well, I'm gonna get in the helicopter again, I think. Is that a good idea? I haven't flown the helicopter before. This might be a bad idea. Is it just the X or the triangle or the trigger? Trigger. Okay. How do I change the perspective? Huh? Pad. Nope, that's not it. Oh. Oh. How quaint. Oh, guys, look at this. Alright, now we're going to use a drone to fly over.
I'm going to go to the camp.
Okay, but look straight down for a second so we can get an idea of the shape of the place. Alright, so go right over the obelisk for a second so you can kind of see the general shape of the star fort. And I'm like, yeah, I said it. Alright, well, now you're going to go to the camp, the encampment. Alright, notice the octagon in front of the star, too. There's a lot of these specific shapes, and they're the same shapes, like using the trapezoids, using the octagon. They're all over Hollywood, they're all the same shapes. I know, yeah, I seriously scanned her. I feel you on that. Because it was like, it's kind of funny, but like part of this was when we first were looking for star forts, I think someone made the joke that it reminded them of the Mario Brothers star world, where the Princess World in Mario 64, at least, has stars everywhere. And I realized when I was in Denmark at some point, yeah, that's what it looks like. It's like a joke almost. It's modeled on a very perfect, complete, purely that way world. But what's interesting about this game, instead of, and I do think the Mario Brothers world probably is I haven't gone into it in a while, so there's probably a lot there. I don't mean to not to say that there's something interesting about this game because it also shows the damage from mudslides and the terrain issues that happen. They've got all kinds of people moving and building things and moving things over. So it's a pretty interesting map in general, just as Los Angeles, but also just because of all the little effects that they've done. They said, okay, well here would be like a flood. I mean, literally, there's a flood. Anybody who just is tuning in, because it looks like some numbers went up. There was a flood right over the Hollywood Boulevard in this game. They flooded from Franklin to just below Griffith Observatory to Franklin in the game. And so that's pretty interesting. That it's not just like a former flood; it's like a current flood. And then all around it, you've got all the examples of debris and everything else. And we've been like trying to make that point mainly because a lot of people look at this like this is like some sort of ancient thing, but this is like the modern example. There's so much of it in Hollywood, in Southern California, wherever they've cut down the trees. Luckily, in Northern California, there's no trees, so the roots really hold it together. Is this the?
Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, this is like Launchpad in DuckTales. Good job, buddy. Yeah, no, seriously, I get the feeling that a lot of people like might lose me at video games. They're okay with cartoons. Like, okay, I can see how they would put, How to Kill a Vampire in a comic book, or maybe how they're like using magic in a cartoon for kids. But like, really? Telling us, using the maps of video games about things? I don't know. Maybe that's hard for some people. But it seems like all of these games are multi-million-dollar Well, how much was Grand Theft Auto 5? 600 million or something like that?
Like 60 million? 100 million?
GTA 5 budget. Look that up. 50 million, 60 million, most expensive. It was the most expensive game, right? That's the most important thing. 250 million, 260 million. I think it was 260 million. So, I mean, 260 million, for some perspective, like, that's about, 20 times the budget of the original Star Wars film. So, the amount of effort that went into mapping this homeless encampment, making sure that the guys had gone out there and actually gotten it right.
This is the guy that built like the houses and painted it all by himself. Do you know this story in California?
No. What is it?
It's supposed to be like a little city made by a man, all by himself, and people started like helping him after.
Like Slab City, or is that?
Not really.
Anybody know what he's talking about? The city that was started by a man by himself? Man started city.
So it's not like a city, it's more like a work of art. And he did it all by hand.
Oh no. Russia.
I'll find that out.
Yeah, I've been to some of these little places, like, I've been to Slab City, but that's a little bit more big, I guess. And this looks like a dome. You guys see? Hey, turn back at that hill for a second, would you?
Coral Castle?
Look behind you for a second. No, Coral Castle is in Florida. But see, if you go back to there, you'll notice the hill itself has windows. That whole thing he's standing on was a building. This is an Earthship. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, do you want to... Wait, look at that map for a second before you get in.
Sorry.
Yeah, if you can.
Yeah.
His big cowboy boots take a minute, guys. Hold on. Alright, there you go. Look at that map up close. How close can we get? Oh, that's great. Okay, so you guys see there's a star fort north of here, just about what I'm gonna assume is, what do you reckon there, like 100 rods? I reckon. Elevation 2048. That's gotta mean something too. Wait, you saying the star fort's the opposite of the hill? Or are you saying it's the other direction? You think that map's turned around? Maybe you're right. Maybe that was it. You think that that building was the thing? That might have been it. Virtually, just go upwards and look downwards. Use the D-pad twice so you can see. Yeah, I like to trade down. Go as high up as we need to. Ascend into the heavens. Well, there's some underground tunnels with some buildings. It seems like that's a big part of this. Yeah, you know, the funny thing, Brittany, about LA is LA's 200 miles wide and an inch deep. But yeah, it really is like a pretty big place. And then there's the bedroom communities of LA. So you gotta imagine LA is a place where people like literally would travel to LA to work and go back. So you have people that live in towns now that Ventura, you know, or Orange County to an extent, but originally, but not after the 60s. I think by that point it had changed. But most of these places were bedroom communities, and then they started having so many little restaurants like the Elephant Bar for you to work at that like people started working at the bedroom communities and living east of that, and it all became very convoluted. But so LA is this giant place. It's not. Yeah. You know it. Hey, they're called contrails, bro. It's not their fault that the planes are made out of aluminum and expand when they have a lot of air pressure.
Because it's Dignity Village.
I mean, it is, but Dignity Village. Okay, let me just look up Dignity Village GTA based on. Unincorporated city. Really? It's not based? Come on, based. Based. They won't even admit it's based on anything? Alright, well, if you guys know about East Los Angeles, or like, you know, maybe like El Segundo, or some of like these, like the Angels Forest. I think this is kind of, it looks like it's out in like Angels Forest. This is about the area where that drone killed that guy. That like, you guys remember? It was like a year or 5 ago. Gosh, it must have been maybe longer. It might have been like 2010 or 12. But it was this dude was a soldier and he was out in the back and a drone attack. It was the first drone to kill anybody. It was out in the Angels Mountains. First military drone on U.S. soil. Sorry, that's very specific. But yeah, they killed him right in the middle of the air in the daylight. It's pretty insane. So the fuel that they put in the airplanes, okay, so you were asking about airplanes. Let's just make this really simple. Airplanes are not necessarily designed, like, all the time to, like, just put bad stuff out. There are definitely pictures of that. I don't know how real they are, but whatever. I've heard plenty of stories of people on conscious effort putting chemicals in the air. I'm not talking about that for a second, because there, you know, you can look that up and it will tell you what they're doing. Like, to some lying extent, they'll say, yeah, we're trying to put clouds up so that NASA can look at the colors or whatever. But in general, what they'll do half of the time is they'll just tell you that, you know, the plane is made of aluminum. This is one of the reasons I don't like to fly that much, because when you fly, well, I do not belong here. Wait. Nice. When you fly, they end up having this, like, a pressure that's 10% to 50% less than the pressure of outside. And it sucks. It's bad for you. And it gives you nosebleeds and all this stuff. And people have seizures and all this. It's bad. So, in general, you don't want that. look at this homeless encampment. You guys get this is what California is like now, and like in general, they should have more mobile homes parked everywhere. There's like lots of them. That'd be pretty chill. I want to fly around. Whoa, you can just stand on the thing like a Berliner having a riot. It's hilarious. Okay. Maverick. That's not the right. New flag. Up we go. So yeah, so these airplanes with the pressure lower than is necessary, when they expand, when they have this implosion effect, the air pressure causes aluminum oxide, essentially, broken up aluminum, to come out of the plane into the exhaust, which, come on, vehicles have exhaust. Let's calm down. Like, there's contrails with exhaust in them. It's okay. I don't know if it's okay, but it exists. They don't think it's okay enough to admit, so that's kind of interesting. But there's at least something going on. And then what they end up doing is they fly these 5-mile apart patterns. So planes, what they do is they don't want to hit each other. And imagine you're flying at night or through clouds, so you have a grid system where you fly 5 miles and 5 miles. Everywhere you go, there's a plane another 5 miles above and below and west and north and east. And it keeps all the planes from hitting each other usually. I mean, pretty much always. Unless you're a celebrity and you're in a private plane and you're in a band. So they try to, like, keep these patterns flying over these less populated areas, and then you'll notice there are definitely weather patterns that are changed. It looks like France.
There's something very interesting right here.
Yeah, cool. Show you. You guys hear that, right? Go to tartarinova.com and get the Discord link. I'll actually put the Discord link in here, but if you just go to tartarinova.com, you can get all the information you want. You can play some of the games. There you go. Okay, guys, you see what's going on here. So this is like more examples of what's going on in the game. So where was this?
This is the top of the mountain.
And you had, is there anything else? Is there a radio tower on top of it or anything outside of it? So I wanted to say this earlier. Yes, see, there's a gondola system. When I was in Patagonia and when I was in Malibu, also up on the Griffith Observatory Hill, I was thinking about how LA and some of these places have telepathic psychic power. It sounds really weird, but I've heard other people say it, and so that's kind of like, at least let's put it that way. And it resonates now with me. At the time it was kind of silly, so that's why I'm saying, okay. But when I first got to LA, someone said, even if there was no tower with like an antenna on it here, if you just stood here and sang or thoughts, people around the world would hear you in their hearts and minds. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty hippie. But now, coming back to LA, as a crazier person, I think there might be something to that. I think there's a lot of stories about Los Angeles being the place that was a mouth, a holy mouth. And that holy mouth was opened upwards. And usually it's supposed to be something that can, put things into. The dunes and everything kind of swallowing up. People living in temporal time. There's something about Malibu, for instance, that it just doesn't allow for buildings. It burns them down. Even these stone buildings were just destroyed by these lasers. Either, or by the fire tornadoes. But some of these places just don't accept change. And up in these hills, like if you notice, like there's plenty of examples of these like really ancient ancient things, and like all of a sudden someone probably went and made some sort of a ritual to like broadcast information out of Hollywood. Before there was technology, just straight up, there's the invocation ritual, the great invocation of the Hollymouth, and I think there's a funny story too about Burbank, because Burbank, everyone's like, I think Patton Oswalt says, "Oh, Burbank's such a boring place." He's got to know that's not true, and that must be why he says that. Like, he has a whole special where he talks about how boring Burbank is. It's like, what the heck are you talking about? Burbank's like the most ridiculous story. It's about a Satanist who's in the Order of the Golden Dawn, who had a falling out after an adulterous sex ritual with Marjorie Cameron and Jack Parsons, the rocket designer, who built rockets for the American Air Force, which eventually became NASA, and like now everyone uses his solid-state pentagonal fuselage. I mean, the sex triangle between these three, and then they're connected, of course, with Aleister Crowley. So I mean, there must be like a fourth. There's like probably like a big pentagram of sex going on with the goat. And then that story, you tell me that's not the most interesting story? Like, come on, Burbank is crazy. Sup, Amoro? We're doing a virtual tour of Los Angeles. Welcome. See, she's hiked up here. We took the virtual helicopter. She looks strung out. And vegan. Good for them. So, notice there's not, in the real game, I feel like, when there's less fog, you can see, there's, it's pretty... Do you think it's flat looking? Does it look kind of flat earthy? Yeah? A little bit? Alright. Honestly, it looks curvier to me in the game than it does in real life. GTA 5 Virtual Mudflare Tour. So notice these volcano-like mountains. Is that the mountain that had the thing in it? That was it. All the pointy ones, when I was in Chile at least, turned out to be volcanoes. I tend to think that that's a thing. I don't necessarily know what I think volcanoes are anymore. I mean, I think I have ideas now that are different than I used to. Because running from fire, as fire was burning hundreds of miles at a time from these volcanoes that were blasting, I kind of got stories from natives, and their deal is that they're not from tectonic shifts. They're just from chemicals that are in the mountains that are there's a sand pit opens up with some water, and then it just starts off this chemical reaction, which is weird, and it's kind of a story that kind of makes more sense to the the thing and what we're doing. It looks like we're down in the... This is the east?
This is north.
North. Whoa. Burning Man. Yeah, there was a little bit of that. We can go back to tunnels at some point if people need to see more tunnels. I think in general, landing on some of the construction roofs too later. Although do whatever. Now we've got. I didn't know this was coming, guys. But there's a boon here. He found a plane, so pretty exciting stuff. This is Palm Springs, is what it looks like to me personally. I don't know. I mean, it seems more Palm Springy than Ventura-y. But, parts of Ventura look like this. Up in the drier spot. This is what Ventura used to look like. For sure. Alright, so now we're taking off. Up into the sky. Snooze you lose, cuppas. Lone poke, eh? Amoro, what do you reckon about parts of Los Angeles? We're going over the oil fields now. Notice, can you do a virtual dab again and circle back around? Show this oil, do the thing. Can you look downwards?
I can't believe it.
Oh, that's sad. Sorry guys, but if you notice, we were going over some of these oil fields. Oil fields are really interesting in Los Angeles. The show, The Beverly Hillbillies, are about oil fields. Taft, also about oil fields. 5 Easy Pieces is about Jack Nicholson in Taft. But you'll see, like, oil fields, they're not that far from anything. They're in high schools, they're in, like, the middle of towns. These ones are interesting because they're like these full-on encampments. Look at that owl statue. I don't think we can quite pick that up. It was a giant owl statue. Gosh. So many cool things. I mean, I'm not saying that there's necessarily that giant owl statue in this particular oil field, so. But at least in the game. Good job, Renaya. 74. You've done amazing stuff. Good for you. Yeah. Right. So, like Disneyland, there are all of these kind of, or let's say like Las Vegas, there's all of these grove-like places that would otherwise dry up instantly if they turn the water off. Yeah. This looks very Ventura, right? Like, this kind of reminds me of the beginning of Ventura. I love how they kind of just combined it all. Oh, but this is the beginning of Malibu? Right, yeah, so right out of Calabasas. Coming out, if you consider that last one almost like Canyon Dune Road, right? And then Canyon Dune Road is like followed by Latigo Canyon. Whoa. There we go. Yeah, this is how you do it. You're like triple X. We gotta get you another helicopter soon. Or get a car, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a car.
Careful about these. Do people drive fast on their road? They're looking at their cell phones? Oh, man. Oh, no. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side of life. You guys, when did you guys figure out that joke was about death? You know, the chicken crossing the road? How old were you? The other side. Yeah, you know, dinosaurs on the gasoline station, Sinclair, which relates to the dinosaur show, and they're knocking down all the redwood trees. Ooh. It's a good thing I don't have to do that. I've had the same car for a long time, and I don't want to ever have that happen. It doesn't sound like fun. Hey, you guys think, yeah, YouTube censorship by the year 2000, have you thought about that the year isn't, you know, like, obviously because of the whole, it being a different year than it is, like, 1999, you know, at the end of the dinosaur show, they're, like, counting down to the end of the world, and they're like, the world's gonna end in, like, 987, and the baby goes, 6, 6, 6, 9, 9, 9, 0, and it's like 99, so he says 666, and then he says 999, which is, like, upside down. 666, and then 0 because it's like the 1 in front is for the 1999, and he's making the point that it's not a 1, it's a 0. I don't know, just a thought. However, I mean, in general, the middle of the earth is like filled with a belly gut full of, you know, fat. And that's what oil and fat are. We should play around with those words more, exchangeable words, because I've noticed they're taking fat out of Spam and things like that. And you gotta admit, like, they're not trying to make Spam healthier for you, are they? Like, they're just taking the fat. They just know that the fat's the good part. And they're like, oh, well, you know, we can probably just kill them better if we get rid of the fat. You know, and they tell them the fat's bad, so you eat more sugar or gluten or whatever. I mean, everyone knows the ketosis thing. But then they're, like, all scared about eating, you know, fat. And I'm not saying you should eat petroleum, because, dang. But, I don't know. I do wonder about these electric cars, because once I was in Chile, I saw like all the like areas where lithium had been mined and extracted, and it can't rain. I mean, it can't grow food, can't grow anything, because it rains acid from the lithium extraction chemicals for like tens of miles around the factories and extraction. Yeah, Earth sweat, Amoro. I agree. Earth is Earth, and then you know what? It's like I'm not saying it's infinitely replenishable, because have you ever seen when you vegan up a lady and she's like losing all of the, you know, the cell, like the, what do you call it, cellulite or whatever, like the Willendorf stuff, the Mother Earth. I mean, I'm going there. It literally has to have a certain amount of fat to like thrive. Humans have to have a certain amount of fat to thrive, and so, you know, that's a big reason they try to make people super duper skinny, I think. Because, you know, there's energy from electric extension through melanin and cellulite. Energy through oil, electricity through oil is very powerful transduction material. And they, you know, they make batteries and capacitors. Oil capacitors are one of the oldest kinds of capacitors. Fluidic capacitors work very well. They have them. They soak oil in cardboard paper, wrap them up around a positive, negative metal, and, you know, like, it could be any kind of metal, not any kind, but then they use the oil. So I mean, using oil can be, you know, moderated in a safer way. Same with steam, nuclear steam. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. Is like, can we see nuclear power plants?
Yeah.
Guys, we're gonna look at a nuclear power plant. That's what we'll do. This is a great bridge. Where are we at? This is like San Pedro or something, or maybe it's a nice harbor, Long Beach or something. Oil versus water. Well, water is amazing, but it's different for oil. Oh, and wait, here are the nuclear power plants, by the way. So in California, we have Death Star nipple, like Madonna power plant. I mean, or maybe they're supposed to be testicles. I don't know. I think it kind of is both in a way. But they're more, they seem, I always got with the feminine side of the symbology. It just seems like that's what this is. And, you know, these nuclear power plants are really close to the beach and to the road. It gives me, it makes my ears pop when I drive by it, I swear. I feel like, and there's also an underground grapevine. So, yeah, in terms of oil and water, I think oil and water are, they're different in the sense that water is a molecular memory system, and oil is a molecular memory system that is instantaneous transductor. So water can be used for longer storage, and it can be broken down, and it can be reconnected with other water that will then keep its molecular structure. On oil, what it does is it's more fluidic, like it's almost a soft solid. So it's closer to, as its like more soft state, like a soft ice, you know. The thing about oil is then you can use that for sending energy instantaneously, pretty fast, and so it's very great for like a fast volt of energy, whereas water tends to like absorb that energy, right? So you use water to like hold. You can actually use water to hold lots of energy. Like that's what storms tend to do. But, you know, storms break it up, and it happens, and like there's like a catalytic energy that breaks down. It's different than how oil can be held in a huge amount, and it can have that energy waiting, and then it can be broken down, but it has to be broken down with an energy that then starts a catalytic reaction and has all this stuff. So that's where the Earth has like energy, you know, like gut reserves, versus what water is essentially like blood. You know, it's like, oh yeah, this power plant is so matrixy. Does it say Coke? Storage? I wonder what they're trying to say about that. Yes, sir. I've been very... Wait, to where? Where are you asking? Before I say yes, Sage. To the nuclear power plant right next to the freeway. Have I been inside of it, or like just like have I seen it every time I drive right next to it? To Jupiter? Yes, I've been to Jupiter. I am Jupiter. Is that what's going on? I don't know how to answer your questions anymore, guys. Interesting. Poland's facilities. Tell us more about that. The Hollywood stars, or like actually to outer space? Or to inner space? Nuclear waste isn't a lot of food. I feel like they're putting it in like most food. It's a deal. What's that? Is that a boat? Have I been to outer space, or is it all hearsay CGI? How are those the same questions? And what... Okay, so like... First off, inner space is much easier to approach. Outer space involves actual metal crafts and electromagnetic fields. Have I been to outer space in the sense of I've gone in a submarine-esque submarine and gone through a Stargate like portal that's like inside of a, you know, spinning electric thing? No. But oh, there's a spaceship in GTA? Is that what you're saying? Is there a spaceship?
Good.
Okay, apparently there's a spaceship. We'll find the spaceship. Tell us where it is, Eugenie. San Pedro. I have been to San Pedro too. San Pedro, as the Croats say. Oil. Yeah, but like, so Sage, I think inner space is easier to approach. You can imagine a lot of people go to inner space all the time. So, that's different. No, I don't go to NASA space programs to like Saturn. If I do, they don't tell me. I don't remember. Is that good enough? I mean, you know. The radio in LA is really this bad. This is a good simulation, actually. I really miss the old, like, Art LeBeau. Is that right? Yeah. I'm Art LeBeau. You're listening to 92.3. I was born in Salt Lake City, Utah, and moved to Los Angeles during my high school years, where, at the age of 16, I became a disc jockey for the Washington High School. It was at that point that I became interested in the radio as a general study subject, and then I became beginning in KCMJ in Palm Springs, the beginner of 92.3's hard-hitting solo hits and requests, where we sent music all over the country. That's basically my best Art LeBeau. I missed that guy. Did he die? What the hell happened to him? He's 93. That's super sad. Oh yeah? Man, I mean, he's kind of like a, I mean, I don't know if he's good or bad, but he's a solid, you know what I mean? Definitely, it's a time thing. Without Art LeBeau, the whole world's shifted, You know, he kept the radio classy. Without him, they're just like, hey, you know where to get your watermelon pills? And I don't know. There are reptilians in Los Santos. And there's a spaceship where? Alright, well you do what you do, bro. Like, I feel like, even if you need a mission or something, this is decent, because we're finding lots of things actually just through, like, going over Los Angeles. Because some of these things are not in the same places as other things, but they emulate the same thing. They give you, like, a good flyby of actual locations. You ever wonder about these, like, power poles? All the power poles look like demonic faces. Somebody out there has. Wind turbines across the state. What was the recent thing I heard? That wind turbines might cause cancer? What was that? The wind. Is the wind spinning or something? Kills birds? I don't know. I heard somebody write some weird article. I was like, that's cool. I like conspiracies like that. I don't tend to believe them, though. I think wind turbines probably are, like, pretty much the most legit form of... any kind of turbine seems like the most legit form of free energy. And what we've been looking into with Brittany's information about magnets. Yes, cats. Cats are the other great source of energy. But virgin magnets or cats. But, yeah, I think... and referring to the comments. But I do think that the idea of a polarized 16 magnet system making, you know, running pretty much 24 hours a day, it has a little bit of entropy, but then you can supplement it with solar panels or with more wind power or whatever, and it can run for 20, 30, 60 years, 100 years, forever, basically. So, dirty electricity windmills. I don't know. Is that real? I don't know. I mean, I'm open. Tell me. What do I know? Are cats better energy efficiency than windmills? Tell me more. I don't know. But the Sweet 16 is more underground, right? You'd have, the idea is these Edison-style, Edisonian generators, these giant babies, will be Sweet 16s. So those things would run virgin magnets spinning, 16 virgin magnets spinning for 20 years at a time, and then they wouldn't know how to turn them back again. But like, you just get a little electricity from a lightning strike, and then that thing would just spin, you know. So you could power a lot of things off that. Hey, you know, in LA, I did not cross a black cat's path once. There's like 2 people walking with me that did, and I was like, stopped for a second. Don't know what that's worth. So you'll notice above LA right now is a lot of fog. So what that means, guys, is we need you to stop polluting the video games. I don't know what you're doing, but it's clearly the exhaust from, maybe it's just from my talking. I don't know. Please address the cat misunderstanding. Okay, sorry, hold on, I have to go back to this. I think people are seeing it on the wall, so. Episode 1, recent Tartarians. Oh, Matt Lanter, I want to digitally replace Hayden Christensen with you. Oh, Matt Lanter. Alright, so the cats thing. I thought cats. Oh, cats cause cancer? No, cats cause AIDS or something. I don't believe any of this stuff. Just saying these are the things that they make memes about. Luke, I am your father. I am your father. Anakin Skywalker. Luke, I am Lord Vader. Your alma mater. Your sister is Leia. Luke. Alright, so now we're flying over the sea? Or where is this?
Above the fort.
Whoa. We're going over a military fort, people. This is like Sky King stuff. Be careful. Are you gonna jump? Oh my gosh, guys. What's the ceiling on that? It's the firmament. What do you think? Come on, guys. There's a firmament. Don't be silly. He's gonna perpetually crash this thing. Don't you worry. He's got a lot more style than you think. Amoro's all excited. He's like, crash it now. Crash and burn, transporter. Like that movie Crank. Where you just jump out of the thing and calls his girlfriend. And she doesn't pick up. So real. Alright, here we go. Hey, what's up, Ed? How's it going? Dude, alright, we're about to do it like Green Ranger style. Can you do any tricks?
No.
Oh, you can't backflip, or can you look around? Oh, look at the this defies Galileo's principle, guys. Did you notice that the thing's following at a faster speed, like, than he is, proportionally?
Yeah.
Weird. What are they saying?
Maybe the speed of the helicopter.
You're making excuses for the physics, but I bet you they know something we don't know about the firmament that makes helicopters fall faster. God threw that helicopter. Alright, here you go. And now this is kind of like... I want to say this is like San Luis Obispo base. But does anybody have a better example? Would you say it's like San Diego, San Luis Obispo? Is it more like the East LA base? Really? Like, what do you think? Yeah, I know, Ed. Seriously? Like, people are like, really? Are you serious? But, like, I'm serious. We're taking over a military jet plane.
I'm a fucking Marine.
You better hurry if you're gonna do it. Whoa. Alright, guys. And that's that. So, up we go. So, there you go. So, we're not, by the way, even watching Stealing a Real Jet. This is just in game. But it does pretty much show what it would be like. Oh, 4 stars. Nice. If you were a whale, this would have collapsed your diaphragm to fly like this. Now crash it, says him. Alright, no, we're trying to get... Alright, but you guys, look at this, above you guys right now. This is actually how they shot Star Trek. They took the camera, put it upside down. That way, the ship, it looked like they were shooting, flip the footage, and you'd shoot the ship from the bottom, from above. So maybe this way, if you want to fly upside down, we can look above and, I don't know, maybe this is easier. But you can see this is the Pacific Coast Highway in all of its glory. Full of fuel. Yeah. Totally. Think about how much fuel they use, right? There's all of this fuel and like all the time just driving around. The cars are on the beach. We're like, hey! Oh man, that Ferris wheel. I love that place. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. They have ice cream there. One time I got ice cream from Pier, and you know they had like a thing which was like 5-cent water, which was like supposed to be like a, you know, like a joke or something. Like in addition to like,
that.
Yeah, dude, you jumped out of. You're not a Kennedy.
What?
Yeah. All right. I would probably sit somewhere else before they notice. So this is cool. I shot a short film right here. I wonder if I could find that. I don't know if I really want to find it. It was called Morning Wood. It wasn't my screenwriting. But there's like all these models and bikinis right at this point. And they're all like... What was it? It was like, Pedro, wake up! I don't know. You do a lot of things when you're in film school. But right here on this pier... Also, wait, take a right for a second, or are the cops still chasing you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. You gotta do what you gotta do, guys. Sorry. What do you think HVI stands for, THC or heroin? I don't think it's one or the other. I mean, the place at Coke, storage or something like that. It's a mafia game, buddy. I don't know. I think really what it probably is quinoa. I would say. It's a sign of vigor. You know what also works is mustard's. Mustard's pretty good. Mustard and horseradish. It's underrated. Anyway, right here, this is a great spot. You can walk through the Venice Beach. This is where I saw the shake weight first prototyped. And they're like, what do you guys think of the shake weight? I didn't have anything to do with it. When people would pick it up and they'd be like, yeah, it's great, I'm on TV. And you're like, you're literally jerking off a robot right now. It's not even fun. I don't understand. But, is the graffiti area that we beached at? Is that there?
Mm-hmm.
We should go look at the graffiti. Is a skate park there?
Mm-hmm.
Can you skateboard?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. Can other people skateboard? Can you rob them? I'm just kidding. In this game, you can do a lot of stuff.
How are you?
Oh, can you get her number? Sorry. Can you get her Snapchat? I don't know. My Snapchat and Instagram is Xirtus as well, by the way, for all the video gamers and, like, social media people. It's the same thing. Xirtus. Xirtus. It's a Mall Boulevard right here. All these houses are, like, bunkers, you know, with glass fronts, but
Just trying to hang on until tomorrow.
I wonder if we could see Rose Street, like that first street right before. I don't know. I wonder if we could find the house I lived in. Yeah, you get a moped at least, like a little monkey, something.
Watch where you're walking, you idiot.
Just be assertive. It's LA. That looks like a Tesla, eh? Good choice. Is it a Tesla? Is it electric? Looks like it. Is it zippy? Is it more zippy than normal cars? I don't know.
Oh, 이거 뭐야?
What cultura? Wow, you're doing a good job not running over people. That's pretty impressive. Nice of you. If you need to run over people, remember they're just. I don't know. I don't want you to get the idea, guys, that you could just run over NPCs just because they're NPCs.
Dick?
Because you get in trouble.
Okay, you fucking pussy. No problem. You know
Ah, Tesla! He's a rich guy. There we go. Parks his car right in front of the skate park. I like it. I think your whole deal is great. Alright. Usually there's like 1,000 people right here. I'll get some footage out of this. The skate park is obviously not Tartarian, but you gotta wonder, are skate parks kind of Tartarian? I know if you watch the Doors of Dogtown idea, they're just emptying out pools, and they say that's the beginning of that. Well, I have some questions as a Santa Cruz person. Is that really true? I mean, I know that they had emptied out pools. I get that that was a thing. Oh man, did you crash the plane for Amoro? He looked kind of upset. Oh, he wanted you to crash the car. Just crash everything for Amoro. I don't know, whatever. Right in front, this is also where the giant compass. That thing is a compass in real life. Some photos of that too. It's a huge 40-foot navigating cartography compass. What do you call it? Freemasonic compass.
Oh.
That's cool. You can jump right in the pool. You need to get a skateboard or a scooter.
Go right there.
No, this kind of annoyed me. All the artwork on these, like, in these areas was destroyed. I mean, like, it makes sense, these walls, they paint over them every day, they change them, that's fine. But, like, because of that, I was kind of hoping that, like, the Van Gogh painting on the friggin' wall somewhere wasn't ruined with some lame stamp. So, I mean, I know no one cares what I think about that, but basically, if you're gonna graffiti, like, you know, do it over something that sucks. Don't, like, change a Van Gogh, please. Like, I have all these photos of it from 2010. Whatever. This too shall pass. Alright, back in the... Thanks, Ed. Super down. Glad you liked it. Yeah, the Windy interview I was pretty stoked on. We're gonna do something pretty soon. I was gonna talk about the Cube, so I wanted to do something. I was thinking, man, like, it'd be really good to talk about Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5. And that was kind of the main thing that, like, I was like, hey, we should talk a bit about that in general. Because that, you know, and, you know, there's not a lot of kids probably that care about Richard Shaw, I guess, anymore. And they should, because he's freaking awesome. A lot of these old film people are better. So, you know, I guess, like, that was cool because not a lot of people do that anymore. Reverse. Raining in LA? Come on. Come on. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, Wendy's really amazing. She's really smart. She knows a lot. I hope that it was in like the interesting thing about going through the mud flood. I'm gonna talk to her more soon. She's sending me some pictures. But we're gonna do something about what actually it was like to undig it. And that's funny because what happened in California. Well, hey, Sean Reha, lots is happening. We're going through LA, which is what it looks like in Venice Beach. And then you can see what it looks like. These are like the old buildings that are right in the front. But yeah, we're also talking about a lot of things because I'm reading the chat. Yeah, we're going to do something about what it's like to undig some of this stuff. Because Wendy's house had to have physically people come and undig it because it's like anthropologists or archaeologists undigging Egypt. I think that's pretty interesting. You know, walking in LA, nobody walks in LA. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, Sean Reha, you probably are just tuning in if you're saying that. Like, we've found all the tunnels in LA that are, like, drilled. We've gone to the secret military base in LA. I mean, you know, there's a pretty crazy thing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more to her prog story, too. Like, the thing is, I mean, once we talk about the digging up of her property, like, that was just a phone call, and I'm gonna go down to, you know, do another recording, probably when I go back to LA. But, like, the thing about digging up the property is, like, LA was undug, Egypt was undug, California was undug by hand. There's something weird about the undigging by hand. All the stuff that they had to do, they couldn't use tractors because it would destroy, you know, things like that to get it out or whatever. That's pretty interesting to me. So, also Ferris wheels are like really, you know, imagine the energy it takes to spin a Ferris wheel going back out into something. Same thing that was going on. There was a Ferris wheel at the Chernobyl Pripyat town, and it was operating even the day of the blast. They use these things, you know, like I said, mainly to entertain people. I kind of think there's something, you know, about the giant size of the generator that seems like beyond, like all these amusement parks seem like there's something more to them than just to amuse.
Just call me when you're ready.
Yeah, I think there are underwater buildings. I don't know how hard it is to find the underwater buildings. Is that scuba? Can you scuba in this game? Yeah, I think that takes a lot of... We'll get to that at some point ever. But yeah, there's like scuba, underwater, Atlantis, you know, it's all here. All in the virtual game. At some point, St. Denis is another thing we're going to have to just go around St. Denis, because it's like electric Tartarian city. Yeah, thank you, man. It's been a minute. So the Ferris wheel, does it operate? Mm-hmm. Nice. You gotta wait a second for the Ferris wheel to go, but once it goes. Yeah, anybody who's in this, who has more questions, wants us to show more things, like, this is a live thing also, so, like, we're responding to chat. So if there's any questions you have, let us know. LA's pretty incredible. There's a lot of weird things about. There's like there's a song for every day of LA, for instance. You know, like for every hour, probably. People have written songs about it. And not all of them are very happy songs. I like that one from Decemberus. There is a city by the sea, a gentle company. I don't suppose you'd want to. What was that song? Probably can't play it, but I could just say it to find the lyrics. Alright, this is the song about Los Angeles I think of the most. There is a city by the sea, a gentle company. I don't suppose you want to. And as it tells its sorry tale, in harrowing detail, its hollowness will haunt you. Its streets and boulevards, orphans and oligarchs, it hears. A plaintive melody, truncated symphony, an ocean's garbled vomit upon the shores. Los Angeles, I'm yours. Any of you guys watch that movie, Falling Down? Is that the right one? With Douglas? Falling Apart, Man Apart. Yeah, Falling Down. Good movie. Joel Schumacher. It takes place right here on this pier. At the end of it. Take a look. It's in a book. I'm reading Rainbow. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Are you in trouble if you sing other cool songs or they take them from you? I don't even know what the deal is with that. Pretty much the Leviathan. You guys see the Leviathan right there? Crash the Ferris wheel. Man. Take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. I can't do anything. Man, now you got the song that someone else wrote stuck in my head. And I hope that public broadcasting doesn't come and knock on my door and ask for, like, legal permission, because I do not work for the Public Broadcasting Corporation, nor have I ever. I don't know what they'll do. Well, another thing I was going to think about in this wharf right here, so right to your right is this ice cream shop. Can you get into the carousel room or no? Is it hard to see? I don't think you can. Alright, right in here is an old carousel thing. You know, like the merry-go-round? And it's kind of like the boardwalk one. It's very cool. Wood, handmade, old, 100 years old. Your suit's all wet, man. Ha ha. NPCs are gonna laugh. There's a lot of flags in this game. What's funny is, I think there's more flags in this game than there are in actual Santa Monica for California and for the United States. I mean, if there are flags, they're like rainbow and, you know, there's not a lot of patriotism in California. That's that interesting like that. Hey, that's a cool one. Take that car. Something we've been noticing is that there a lot of harmonization in California with the EU and the UN. The laws are changing. They're going to make the Autobahn, essentially, the 5 freeway, will have no speed limit soon. Can you fish in the game? No. But I can fish in real life. Have you ever gone fishing in Mexico with, like, a spearfishing gun? Yeah. Or also, like, you know, with a stick. But I have gone fishing, if that's your question. Steve Harvey's running around, which we're basically like... This is probably what... This is a virtual... We should put that in. This is what it would be like to be Steve Harvey. If his wife just left him. You'd be right. Or maybe if he had to get home. This is Steve Harvey on his way home. Steve Harvey had to get home before his wife found out that he wasn't really there because he's supposed to be taking care of the kids. But he actually went out to buy presents because he promised that he wouldn't forget their anniversary again. Oh no! Tune in for a hilarious adventure as Steve Harvey gets all the way back to his family, starring Steve Harvey as Steve Harvey himself, and as his wife, and as his children, and as the villain enemy dad. Guys, he can't. You know, the funny thing is, if I was driving and when I drive, I'm gonna crash all the time. That'll be your solace. But Jeff's, whoa. I was like, I can't promise anything. Can't promise no crash. Alright. The nice thing is that his car is totally fine and everyone's completely okay. Strong like Russian woman. Well, there you go. This is, by the way, the airport. I don't know if we mentioned this is LAX. LAX is pretty fun. One time I was at LAX and they were like, hello, you've been asked to participate in a random search of your vehicle. And I was like, yeah, if you have a warrant, I'll be happy to comply. And I had like 3 people in my car from not in the state, and they're all weirded out. And I didn't have any drugs on me, by the way. This is a big part of my life. So I had like a container, which looked like a medicine container. It was like a yellow container. And it was filled to the brim with green jade stones. And the guy was like, oh man, like, what's in your car? Like, what's that? And he pulled, like, I'm like, you want to see? And I handed it to him, and I poured jade into my hand. I'm like, you want some? And he was all like, all right, just go. And they were all freaked out. They were like, man, you talk to cops like that? And yes, and even my friends who are cops, like, they'll tell you the same thing. Always say that. If you have a warrant, if you have a warrant, I'll be happy to comply, you know? And otherwise, don't. That's my story. That tower right there is the radio control tower. I mean, how weird can you look down? Can you fly above? Go just look straight down over the LAX airport. So this airport right here, look how crazy that like very Disney dome arch is. It's like it's a pseudo pyramid, you know. I like it. And then the tower just is right above it, and then they can see out 360 and everywhere above LA. And this is very close to a Indian casino, because you know the Native Americans in California, they let them gamble or like run gambling rackets. I don't know what the whole deal is, but like California, it's illegal to gamble unless you are like 196%. Like, if you're Elizabeth Warren, you can gamble. I guess is the deal. So they run these like these things. There's also an In-N-Out burger right there. Can't help it. Hit the dome. All right. How about that tower? Can you go? Ooh, look at that tower. That's nice. How about that giant? Can you get to the top of that? Look at these stars we're going over here. Alright, so notice this is something I hadn't thought about so much, but you can land right here if you get on if you want. That area, you can see the construction from first person in this game. Very interesting at the top of these towers, and you can see what it's like when they're working on new building projects. They even have like their cans and beers and things like that. Come on, give me a second. Doing it. Thank you, Dad. Alright. He's actually really good at landing this helicopter. You know, he likes to jump out. You can later on, if you want to do that thing, where you land in the hotel and so. Pretty clever. But I don't know. Dicium, I'm actually thinking we should start our own. That seems like a way better suggestion than taking it away. Like, why not? I mean, like, they're gonna eventually, yeah, sure. They're gonna eventually make it so, like, we might as well run some sort of an organization that allows us, boring, well, dude, he's gonna do some, he's gonna need that thing, you know, land on top of this building, and we're gonna go somewhere else, you know. Do some parkour. Wait, like a Russian, can you climb on that yellow thing? This is what it's all about. Alright, walk across this beam. Alright. This is what it's all about. This is what the people want to see. Alright. Oh no, don't die. Alright, man. Here we go. One step at a time. It's easy, you know. This is like that movie that Robert Zemeckis made after, you know, he made, like, after Back to the Future. His movie, they walk across from one tower to the other tower of the Trade Center, and he's doing a tightrope walk. I think he's wearing a red shirt with a black jacket, very much like Marty McFly. But he's still doing this exact same walk 30 years after Back to the Future. Oh, it's not so bad. Not so bad at all. Look at that. Safe. Wait. Can you look around in the middle and not fall? Because that's cool. Alright, yeah. Now you go ahead and keep going. That's all I'm gonna do. Or does that screw you up? Alright. Whoa! He meant to do that. That's a professional move. Don't try that at home. Alright, here we go. Yeah, I know, right? This is crazy. Imagine the wind up here. That's my impression of the wind. It's all like blustery. So much wind because there's no trees. It's crazy. Alright. Can you first person? First person that. Yeah. Okay, imagine that this... Whoa. Up you go. Can you go up there, or do you want to go further out?
There.
Go further out. Go further out first. What's that?
It's a parachute.
You don't need that yet. When we're going, we don't need parachutes. Yeah, just go as far out as you can. And then just look. You could parachute out if you really want, but I don't think you need to, because then we wouldn't be able to get back up very quickly with the helicopter and everything. You paid $50 daily property utility fee. This is how real this game is, dude. We had to, like, get an apartment in a car. You know, like, this game, you gotta, like, pay utilities. It's like a bank account at, like, Los Santos Maze Bank. Crazy. Whoa. Nice. Alright. That's basically what it looks like over southeast LA. Yeah. Redoing Epsilon, eh? Look at that. You can see now that it's evening. You can see the light from the Ferris wheel up at the end there. Very cool. GTA 6, man, we were thinking, what should that be? Like Mexico City or Moscow are like the two that I think would be the best. But Jeff thought America. Where do you think? It should be like Chicago, you said?
No, it needs to be bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, Eugenie just said Chicago. I just think, meh, open world would be cool.
But they never did outside of America.
Good night, Amoro. I promise to keep most of this to the effect of trying to make it correlated. Oh, yeah. This is good. Look at this. This is nice. Alright, we're keeping the first person, though. First person, just keep flying. That was nice. Yeah. Tokyo would be kind of fun, but, you know, traffic. I think Moscow or Mexico City. Or, like, you know, somewhere weird. It's gotta be, like, a place that's weird to drive around. Fun. Mexico City's weird to drive around. It's all, like, big and dense. Whoa. Look, I've had a rough day. Bye. There you go. No one does the first person. Keep the first. This is fun. I like this. Can you handle it? First personing? I like it. Oh yeah. I mean, if you need, you could wear the helmet. You got the helmet for that, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's literally a whoa. This is why remote viewing is easier. If it's gonna be hard to escape this super, no, like, hey, you got this. So there was a game called Driver and Driver 2, which were really good. And then Grand Theft Auto 3 came out after that, right? And it was just like, I feel like they based Grand Theft Auto 3 on Driver 2 engine. You know, this game is the right engine, but the story for Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 were good. Grand Theft Auto had like a 2D park map where you looked at a map and it was not my favorite kind of games in Zelda, but I don't do that very well. But I like this because it's cinematic and everything. So Driver, you know, was fun, and you could drive on Cuba in Florida. Driver 2 at Cuba, and Cuba was amazing. Cuba was like all those Volkswagens and rusty, dirty roads, and it's cool. Yeah, but the story was cool. See, that's the thing with Illusion. The story was like, the story for GTA was good enough that they could make 2 crap games with a good story and buy the engine. And Driver 2 was a boring story somehow, I guess. I mean, which is sad because Driver was a way cool game, you know. Like, but it just wasn't quite what Driver, you know, didn't get to what Grand Theft Auto was, like running people. Oh man, this is funny because in LA, ironically, cops don't bother you nearly as much as they do in GTA. The cops are so busy in LA. I don't know what. Like, there's a lot of crime and a lot of other things to do. I feel like the cops would make fun of each other. Like, oh yeah, you pulled a guy over for speeding, parking ticket. I don't know. In like Ventura, I see it all the time. But one time I got pulled over in LA. It was like I went through a stop sign, and stopped in the middle of the intersection when I saw the cop, and then looked at him and nodded. And then drove on, and then stopped to the side when he pulled me over. He's like, you stopped, otherwise it would have been fine. But he literally said, he's like, just keep, you know, California roll. I'm like, yeah, I know, my bad. And I had like 3 people with me, and so he let me go. So, I mean, like, never really had too much of a problem in LA with them. Not like Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, building a community, right? Yeah. Having said that, I would project videos in parking lots on walls, and they'd come and talk to me. So maybe it might be like they just make contact, initiate contact, and they're like, all right, that Asperger's artist is just a lot of, you know, he's putting flashlights in parking lots. What are we gonna do? Yeah, no, that I can agree with. The metro, and any urban police force that's following. It's investigating transients through urban zones from one capital to another capital, particularly that are like using community and metro systems for transport of human trafficking and drugs. Those zones are a lot more dangerous and they're a lot more busy there. But Ventura is nuts. Yes, Ventura is way. I was arrested in Ventura once because my friend was driving. And he pulled over the intersection in Thousand Oaks once, and they said he went just past the line or something like that, and then they were like, well, that's fine, they didn't give him a ticket for that, but they gave him a ticket for having had a seatbelt not on 6 months earlier and not paying the ticket. So they basically had said he didn't pay the ticket, they revoked his license, and he was driving my car, so they took my car. And I was like, dude, this is my birthday. And the thing was, he's like, screw you, man, for the line. But it was my birthday, and I showed him my ID, and it was my birthday. You know, and they took my car on my birthday. And, you know, so Ventura sucks. I mean, like, the police force can be, like, really rough, whatever you want to say. But, Ventura is a really pretty place. I like Ventura. The police force are really less busy and like to be a little bit more cruel. Vine. Yeah, that was an annoying day. I had to go to school anyway. So I had to like rent a car. I had to like walk 10 miles and rent a car. It was really annoying. I don't know how high you can fly. How high? Pretty much we've been that high. Above the clouds. Does it say the elevation? I don't think.
It's
Maybe on the inside of the thing.
each day there.
I got like 500 comments. We've got about 30 to 40 people watching usually. For the first video game stream, it's not bad. Hollywood sign, very interesting thing, because if you go up here, they'll like arrest you. They'll have like helicopters show up and bother you for it. Luckily, we brought our own helicopter. The Hollywood sign is a cultural landmark overlooking Los Angeles, situated on Mount Lee in the Santa Monica Mountains. It's about 45 foot, like 13, 14 meters tall, and the letters stretch about 107 meters, 352 feet long. The sign was originally created in 1923. At the time, it was an advertisement for local real estate development. I think the sign said Hollywoodland originally, and it was longer. When it said Hollywoodland, where's that? When it was the Hollywoodland sign, it was on Vine Street. It was suggested at 30 feet tall and 50 feet wide. 4,000 light bulbs at a cost of $21,000 in 1890 to 1894 by Fisk Goff. Thomas Fisk Goff. Each letter was 30 feet. Okay, that makes sense. Each letter was 30 feet by 50 feet. And it took only a month to put up, but was intended to last a year, maybe 18 months. Afterwards, they took down the part that said land, and then they kept up the Hollywood sign. In the 1970s, it reached a very dilapidated state, and so it was restored. The second O was torn down by people who kept part of it. Totally, yeah. The Hollywood programming, the Hollywood Vine, I totally agree. The whole thing is designed to project psychic energy out of a hellmouth, which is why like Hollywood's so weird. Although Hollywood seems very different. Like last time I was there, it didn't seem nearly as evil. And I don't know if that's my my perception, but I mean I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying like Hollywood used to be a lot darker. It just seems like it, you know, people have become a lot more. Maybe this the gentrification, so it just seems cleaner there or something. But you know, it was covered in demons and piss, and the whole place now is like. Still got all the sigil magic, but there's a lot more. It's a lot cleaner. I think there's a lot more. There's a lot more money in real estate that's changed things. I don't know if you've seen that show $1 Million Listing. Like LA has gone through the hands of people many times over, it's in the hands of like specific people that buy and sell. I mean, like the Flint building even traded for traded to like a major Saudi oil guy. A lot of the royal families of like the Dubai oil families involved in real estate in Los Angeles now in Hollywood. Water physics pretty good. That way. A lot of money in Hollywood, which, you know, for a while there it was dilapidated, for sure. And it was interesting in dilapidated state, but people were suffering. And the water in Hollywood is, oh gosh, the LA water is like mainly chemicals and weird fluoride salts, and you know, they don't ever, they should just pour it through a mountain and pick it up on the other side. They don't do that. It's just they drink it right out of the toilet defractalizer. Like they poop it, they electrocute it, and they drink it. And you know, the chemicals they add to it, just like you can't get it out with a filter. So everyone's like putting it through a Brita filter, and then they're running lead through their hairs, and they're like, why am I freaking dying? Ah! Like LA makes everyone insane. A lot of honking. Yeah, not just tasting. It's like rich people don't drink the water, but then they just they bathe in it all the time. I mean, you want to be smart. Live out in a van with a 5-gallon water jug or whatever from Home Depot. And you get the crystal spring water and go fill it up at the Malibu Springs and bathe in it, because otherwise you're gonna die. I mean, like the water is giving chemical to everybody. It's just so crazy, like that people bathe in it and it goes to their lymph nodes. I don't know. I avoid it. But you know, I mean, it's funny. Like a lot of the people I talk to, like anybody who's made a habit of living in LA, it's people in the Iron Curtain. The Emerald Curtain. But like, you know, like Jason, even Wendy, like all the people that like use good water, they've kind of found themselves to the mountains, because LA has really good water in the mountains. It's just in the city that it's all messed up. When does it become daytime? How long does that take in this game?
It's 4 in the morning.
Okay. So yeah, after you're done going upwards, get as high as you can, look down at the city. We should go look at that pool place. Should do the. It's good. Yeah. Wormwood, St. John's Wort, kombucha is pretty good with that chai mix or whatever. I mean, you know, you can do stuff. I don't know if that's enough. I honestly think you gotta just get away from the water here, or in this game, there. But there's really good water in, the springs, so you can get good water in the surrounding areas. Calabasas, Topanga, River Springs. Maybe first person it. That's what I was thinking. That looks much nicer in this light. So, I mean, you got the alien, the egg, and the rocket man. New followers. And then the eye ship thing with lighting everywhere. What are those X's, you think? Are those places you can't go? Or something?
Yeah, maybe it was.
Gotta like hack the game open so you can get to the open maps or something. Tunnels, man. They're definitely tunnels. We've been doing this for like 2 hours. Maybe we should finish up the place. Anything else that we want to show? Anybody have anything they want to see? Nice. Whoa. Crash it. Slip and sliding away. How hard is it to get to that hotel? Go too far? Man, this is like the safest way to run down this hill and slide. One time I was on top of a volcano and like it was all smoky and I was all annoyed because I mean I wasn't that annoyed, but I was like, man, this is like, you know, they were like, we're gonna slide down the volcano on our little sleds. I'm like, really? I'm like, it's like, yeah, it's not active. I'm like, but it's like smoking. Oh no, it's fine. I'm like, and we get up there, there's like a bunch of scientists there, and they're like, okay, we can't get much closer. We're gonna just slide down now. I'm like, what? And then like we're sliding down the volcano, like on our bums on these like little circular plastic pads that we brought up to the top of the volcano. And I'm like, is this thing really not gonna go off? Like, oh yeah, it hasn't gone off in decades. Like literally, like the next day, I think it was literally the next day. It might have been 2 days, but like it went off, you know, right 2 days, like right afterwards, and you know, but yeah, we like were skating down this like thing. It was like super fast. It's crazy. But are you running back to a vehicle, or are you just gonna jump again?
Yeah, because it's gonna be too far from anything. Gonna
Okay.
get a parachute or a vehicle.
They just make you wake up here. Gosh, these guys. Something about this tower. Mulholland Drive, all of these places up here are pretty interesting. There's like a Japanese couple that sell bonsai trees right on the corner of Camden and Mulholland Drive. You can get, you know, like really interesting plants, you know, they like take care of. All of this nature that grows up in the Mulholland area. Calabasas Ridge. I have never been to Jamaica. You should totally buy me a ticket to Jamaica. I'll spiel like this the whole time. I do know some Jamaicans. That'd be fun to go to Jamaica. I have watched The Harder They Come. And the Peacekeeping. So is this the gondola that's gonna work?
Maybe.
Because that'd be cool if you could just like turn on the dang gondola. Where's the gondola when you... Bolivia. Bolivia has a giant gondola. Also, this thing is helpful because it's helping me think of things or moving around. Bolivia has a giant gondola that was built by, I think, Siemens or something like that. It's one of the biggest gondolas in the world. I think it is the biggest gondola system in the world. And it has gondolas that get the entire... It's like, it looks just like this mountain area, but there's just hundreds of thousands of people that live there. Actually, I think in the last Clarifix episode, we... show some photos when Victor talks about, when Subs Harvester talks about the ghost cities and reset cities in China. It was like, if there's anything in South America. So I flashed a bunch of stuff about Bolivia, and because Bolivia has 1 million immigrants from China, 1 million immigrants from Russia. They have a huge new population. They have a bunch of military equipment. They have a bunch of cities. They have a bunch of middle class, right? Because it's a cheap place to live. So they've built up, cheap in the sense that everywhere else is very, very expensive. So at least it's plausible to build up some amount of wealth immediately if you're going to be, for this generation alone, in Bolivia. So there's people that are building up their own houses. And then, yeah, you've got all of these Russians and Chinese. So they're living in zones that the Germans built. And they speak their own language. You know, they don't speak Quechua. And they don't speak Spanish necessarily, although they might learn it, because it's easy language compared to Russian, or Chinese, sometimes. But the Chinese, you know, there's already a large Chinese population in South America, so they're able to function pretty well. So Bolivia has these giant gondola systems, and it connects them. I don't know if we can use this one. It's too bad. Can you, like, call a horse? Like, is that only in Red Dead? We should do also though. Can we do Red Dead later? Is that something we do?
I can't get your ride over there right now.
Merriweather, for all your private security needs. How can I help?
We don't need to do it. We can just shut it
Call
off.
back soon.
Alright, I think we're gonna call it a quits, people. I think that this has been a pretty good virtual tour of the Los Angeles mountain regions. We could do something about geology at some point, but like all of this is kind of useful because I can cut some of this footage now to actual photos of these places and, you know, use it kind of like... Because there's... all this stuff is really real. Like the rocks, they're actual rocks. The mountains, the volcanoes, the city. Thanks a lot, dudes. Just do like the button with the controller. Oh, well, look at that.